In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Yes, you are welcome, viewers around the world. Good day to you. My name is Mark Godwin, and I'm here with George Chukwu. George, good morning.
Good morning, Mark Godwin, and good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Wednesday Global African Affairs.
Yes, you're correct, George. You are right on point. You're welcome.
Thank you.
The cold is not blowing too hard in Toronto. We know Toronto to be.
I guess you say we're kind of used to it.
All right, George. Yeah, George, welcome. So, viewers, this is it. Wednesday Global Africa updates. Like we say, we give our stories, exclusive reporting, SSM perspective on the day's top news, and all scope on every issue. So, George, let's start with it's still adoption season. And last time we were asking, can the president of Nigeria withstand this whole adoption thing, rescue these people and all of that? This morning we heard some places again people have been adopted, and these are not pleasant news at all. But let's go to what probably might help. There's a new appointed defense minister, and that was a former chief of defense staff. So Chief of Defense Staff Christopher Musa has now been made a minister. George, do you have the story on that? Is it will it bring succor to what is happening with terrorists and all the rest?
Well, he might bring a small arm of succor, actually. He's been, President Tinubu has tapped a top soldier for the job in nominating Chief of Staff General Christopher Musa to be the new Minister of Defense. I say a lot of people are looking at this particular move as a way to fill this sudden vacancy created after the former minister Mohamed Baduru resigned yesterday due to health reasons, he said. But maybe it wasn't because of health reasons, because what's happening is actually not looking good on him. So General Musa is a highly decorated, experienced pick, having just led the entire armed forces as defense chief until last October, winning the prestigious Colin Powell Award for soldiering, which is not very bad at all. So his career military military man through and through, graduating from the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1991 and rising through a series of crucial command and staff roles over his decade of service. So the man is highly decorated. So hopefully, we're looking for God's intervention over this situation that is trying to destroy our country. So maybe he will, bring a little succor, a little help, But the question that I wanted to ask is, Christopher Musa, what part of Nigeria is he from? Because I didn't look
he's from Sokoto. He's from Sokoto. He was born 1967, and he, like you said, he went to all those schools, all these military schools. But George, the question here now is, what we're putting out here now is, if he was taken out as the chief of defense staff, at that time, the presidency's media people said it's a change of because of impotence and all of that. And now the president is saying he's picking him because he's the man for the job. He has the ability to lead the Ministry of Defense. He has the ability to strengthen Nigerian security architecture. Now, are they not contradicting themselves? I mean, you laid out somebody from an office. Go ahead.
What is happening behind the scenes is all under the grounds of speculation, because we don't know what really happened. But if it smells like fish, tastes like fish, and then sounds like fish, maybe it's fish. So what we're saying here is this: president will come and say one thing, and then the administration, the people that are following him, will come and say something else. These are the places where there is a contradiction in the way that things are happening. Now, if the president had let the former defense minister to go because of maybe incompetencies, and maybe because he's not operating well, or maybe some head needs to roll because of what's going on, and he's replacing him with this particular person, they could have
that was once a defense. That was once a defense.
Yes, if they are replacing him because he was incompetent or whatever the case might be, instead of giving it health reasons, and this one is saying this one is the right person for the job and all that, the man just resigned a day before, and then this one was appointed. So behind the scenes there must be something that somebody is not satisfied over the performance of the former defense minister. So they're removing him simply because of incompetency, or maybe he couldn't operate, and then they give that reason and to remove him. So we don't know.
They give that reason. They gave the reason that he has health issues. But I'm also saying that Christopher Musa, as the chief of defense staff, he was also removed. And when he was appointed, Tinubu came in, he was the chief of defense staff. Now, Tinubu gave all the accolades. And when it was time, they removed him with those other service chiefs. Now, he's bringing it back, and he's telling us this is the man for the job. They don't seem to understand. I mean, it doesn't look like the presidency has an understanding of security issues, apparatus, and all of that. Because when you take up this person, you laid him out, say he was the man for the job. Now you're bringing him back into another space, and you're saying it. But before we continue with this discussion, let's bring in our man Femi Oke, the DG Better Niger. Femi Oke, DG Better Niger. You are welcome, Femo.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Femo.
Yes.
Femi,
today, yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, we are talking. We just not long. We just got into the conversation. We were talking about Christopher Musa and him being the new defense minister. And this is the same guy that was formerly the chief of defense staff, but he was removed. And now we hear that he's the man for the job. He knows the Nigerian security apparatus after removing Mohammed Baduru. So what do you think about all of this? What's your take?
Well, I think it's a great appointment. That's one, and then two, we got to look at the Nigerian political landscape and to show the duplicity and the nonsense that lies within. When General Musa was the CDC, the Chief of Defense Staff, the noise was that the security architecture is not doing a great job. Tinubu's security is the worst security ever. Okay, that's what they were saying. When he was removed, then they were saying, why is President Tinubu removing the CDC, the Chief in Defense Staff, and all the heads of the military? That they shouldn't have removed them. Okay, now he's being reappointed. Then they're heralding, oh, this is a great decision. You see, Nigerians and their politics, they politicize everything. You understand? And I will tell you again, this thing is also being politicized in another way, because one, the new Minister of Defense is from the north. He was born in Sokoto, and he's from Kaduna. Okay, but guess what? He's a Christian. So that's the issue that's going on now, that, okay, we had so-called Christian genocide, Now the Minister of Defense is a Christian, and he's going to take the fight to the north, and he's also a northerner. So he's going to have, you know, you're not going to have this thing that, oh, it's a Christian genocide or whatever, because it'd be basically the war is against their own people. No one is going to be, it's not about Christians, not about Muslims, it's about the war against terrorism. And he fits the bill. The reason why he was removed in the first place, because the military service regulations is that the head of services shouldn't spend more than 2 years, although the president can extend that. But on average, they spend no more than 2 years. He was there for about 2.5 years. And now he's now the minister, the substantive minister for defense. And to most people, I mean, not the biased people, he was doing a great job. So if he was doing a great job as the chief of defense staff, and all the men have confidence in him, so there's every reason that when he gives instructions as the minister, they will be carried out to the letter.
Okay. George, you heard what Femi said. I think Femi should have been in the new league of appointees. I mean, with these explanations he gives to support.
No, the point is this. The point is this. Whether we like it or not, he could be a Christian. Yeah, he's a Christian. Kudos. But is he also a sympathizer? Because you could be a Christian and yet sympathize with the cause because you grew up in it, you knew them. This is a lifestyle that you're used to, though that you grew up in the North, but yet you can be a sympathizer of this terrorist agenda. So what we're saying is this: I'm not condemning the appointment. I'm hailing the appointment. That it wasn't because the last one was incompetent, and then being replaced by this, because they're giving it at health reasons. That's why, you know, the former minister resigned. But whatever the case might be, the appointment, you know, he must have been a fantastic military man. But don't forget that he was removed originally. And part of the reason why he was removed was because of this insurgency situation, where most of them were just discarded and replaced. But now he's back. So hopefully his addition into the whole entire military saga as a minister there will bring a little succor help, you know, to make sure that strategically they go after these people and clip them from the board, from the foundation.
Go after these people and keep them from the board. Gentlemen, let's move into more intense discussion now. Our viewers are numbers are increasing. I want us to also leave all emotion. It's not emotions now, it's real talk. Our country is in their situation. Yesterday, the U.S. Congress urged pressure to the Nigerian government to declare Sharia law unconstitutional. They also said they should disband every Hizbi commission. I don't know what you call that thing. Anyway, Boy was there in that joint meeting, and he was our own Nigerian brother from the Southwest. And this put to rest many people that are saying it is the Igbos that instigated this whole thing with Trump. That's not true. Nigerians abroad in the United States and Canada all came together to make the complaint. So there you go. Dr. Ebenezer Obadari testified right there at the House briefing, and he said some real strong words. He gave some real strong words. He laid out strategies for dealing with this violence and killing in Nigeria. He made some strong words. He said eliminating Boko Haram is Nigeria's only path to stability. And he also told the lawmakers Nigeria's instability is tied tightly to activities of extreme groups like Boko Haram. So, gentlemen, let's talk about this. This is serious. What he said is just accurate. That's the truth. So I'll start with you, Femi. Eliminating Boko Haram, stopping Sharia law, Hizb commissioning and all of that. What do you say, Femo?
Well, I'm not against, I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm not against Sharia law. I believe Sharia law has its place in Nigeria. Nigeria is a secular state, just like America is supposedly a secular state, but you can see that Christianity is moving further and further. The extreme right wing of the Republican Party are taking over, and Christian evangelism is becoming part of the state now. So I don't go for foreign entities, foreign countries trying to dictate to Nigeria about how we should conduct ourselves and what laws we should uphold. We have a constitution, and we have ways in which we need to amend it, and we have our laws. It has nothing to do with America should forget about interfering in our internal affairs. Now, I would respect, those going to America talking about Sharia law if they were Northerners or if they were Muslims from the North going there to talk about Sharia law, not Christians from the South going to talk about Sharia law. Then you know that there's a nefarious political narrative behind what they're doing. So you have Northerners going there, then you know that they're speaking from themselves, people from the Middle Belt, people from Borno who are Christians, or even Muslims who don't want to the radical implementation of Sharia, then so be it. But in any case, I agree with the so-called war on terrorism. And what I also find most disturbing about this narrative in America is a lopsided view of what terrorism is. They can go into the dictionary and define what terrorism is. Boko Haram are terrorism. And Ansaru is a terrorist organization. ISWAP is a terrorist organization. IPOB is another terrorist organization. Bandits are terrorists, if you like, but they're not an organization, so they can't be considered a terrorist organization because they're separate individuals. But if you look at the problem of insecurity now, it's a multi-headed monster. And it's not solely about Boko Haram. If we just focus on Boko Haram, we're losing sight of the reality of what the insecurity is in Nigeria. The kidnappings that are happening are mainly by people who have taken kidnapping as a new profession. That's the new profession in many parts. They kidnap their people, pretend that they're Fulani, because that's the narrative. It's Fulanis that are doing it so that they can make money. That's happening in the Yorubas that are kidnapping, the Igbos that are kidnapping, the Delta, everybody's kidnapping. So that is one scourge that needs to be dealt with, and it shouldn't be lumped in with terrorism. So I think kidnapping is not the same as terrorism. And this is the thing, we lump everything together as if to say it's the same thing. Banditry is another form of criminality. We shouldn't lump it in with terrorism. The terrorism of Boko Haram is largely in the northeast, and there's a few smatterings of it coming in northwest, coming through Kogi, Kwara, Niger, but it's not prevalent all over Nigeria. Boko Haram is not infested in the whole of Nigeria right now. So that's why when we're dealing with insecurity, we must have a holistic view of it. And that's why I'm glad that those who are at the forefront of security, they know what they're talking about. They're not on a biased narrative that we must hate the Fulani, or we must hate the Muslims, or we must hate this particular people. They're telling you that each one of these areas of insecurity are very important, and it should be tackled together, and each one has its own solution. And you try to lump everything into one, it's not going to be a solution for Nigeria. If you want to tackle IPOB, you're not going to use the same strategy as you're going to tackle Boko Haram. They're completely different narratives there. If you're going to tackle banditry, the way you do that is quite different. And if you've got cattle rustling, if you've got community clashes, or people who are fighting over land, they're all different. You understand? And so we should look at it in a holistic way, and not one narrative fits all.
Not one narrative fits all. George, let me say a lot here now. Let's hear your viewpoints on this, George.
Well, to be honest with you, you have to take this thing in a detailed type of way, like what he was just saying. But the Nigerian stance, over this issue is a very painful denial of the visible crisis to begin with. Because all we have seen is, sending emissaries here and there, trying to deny there is no terrorist organization, there is no genocide, or whatever the case might be. When you break it down into stages, banditry, banditry, they call it, ethnic clashes and all that kind of stuff. Call it what it is, because if it's bringing terror to the people, it is terrorism. whether we like it or not, to dismiss the systemic violence in the Middle Belt as innate criminality or ethnic clashes is to erase the targeted genocide against Christian community in Plateau, Benue, and Southern Sudan. So let's take a look at this. These are not random acts of banditry. They are coordinated attacks on villages, farms, and places of worship, leading to mass displacements and death on religious and ethnic identity. Accurate labeling is the first step to justice, and the government's refusal to do so is a profound failure of its duty to protect all citizens. So let's stop all this pontification of what is banditry or ethnic clashes to reduce it. If it's causing terror on people, it's terrorist act. When they were killing Igbos,
let me put this to you. Let me put this to you.
Okay,
Femi added IPOB, IPOB, the Nnamdi Kanu's organization, and he said it still should be grouped in that terrorist group. Do you agree with that? Because IPOB also did a lot in the South. And if IPOB is also grouped in that list, then there should have been some Southeastern member in that committee of collaboration on security issues with America. George, go ahead now.
Well, number one is this, the marginalization is very visible, whether we like it or not. Let's not deny nothing, because when you tell the truth, whether it's against you or for you, then you remain a neutral man and a real person. But when you begin to pontificate and then want to, slice it and, bend it and then sew it back into it doesn't make any sense. The bottom line to it, I've always condemned the acts of the IPOB in Igbo land, in the Southeast. Condemned it from their leader to every single one of them, because I refuse to agree that what they were doing was good for the country or for the Southeast. It was not. You can agitate for separation if that's what you want, but don't go killing your own people, massacring your own people, destroying their businesses, all in the name of what? So these are people that don't have nothing to do, because if they were so busy with their works, then you will not see them coming out to try to kill somebody who is, going to sell water to eat on a Monday or sell a gari to eat on a Monday. If you know how number of people that have died, because some people are dependent hand to mouth. What they sell is what they eat. If they don't sell, they don't eat anything. So I've always condemned that act. But the point is this, like Femi correctly said, you cannot deal with the insurgency of the Boko Haram the same way you would deal with Igbos, the IPOB. Now listen to this though. You go to the Southeast, every 3 kilometers you go to, you will see a military checkpoint. That is part of what they were doing to stop that insurgent, that particular IPOB nonsense that is going on in the Southeast. So, which I agree with, but if you notice, there's been a reduction in the kidnapping, in the killings in that Southeast. It's been a massive reduction in that. Most places are very quietly peaceful because the governors are rising up and taking care of business the way they're supposed to. What we want to see in the Middle Belt and in the North is the same thing to happen in those areas, because we see a lot of complicity, going on with, some, people in the higher hierarchy of authority, where these people are trying to be displaced, or maybe strategies came that they were coming, and then all of a sudden you see somebody, they will call them not to come, or maybe the military will leave 30 minutes after they leave. After the terrorists leave, then they come back. All these kind of little things that are happening, it doesn't look good on us. Now, for the Americans, who is trying to, we call them, they didn't call us. We're the ones that went to them because of what's going on in Nigeria. And you're going to be blind, deaf, and dumb if you don't think that Nigeria needs external help to deal with our issues, because we have been unable to do so. For how many generations now? How many governments since 2014? So this thing that they created is now biting them, and is biting the nation, and is destroying our economy. Now, Ahmed Tinubu, our president, our president, his hands are tied. I am telling you, this man would want to leave a legacy of a man that brought about peace in our land and prosperity in our land. But because of what is happening in the north, because of all the complicities that are taking place in the north, his hands are tied. And most of the time, let me let you know, he is being threatened by some of them from the north. I'm serious. He will not come out
How
and
do you
say
know
it.
that? All right, George.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that?
Femi,
No.
Femi, it's okay, George. You said a lot there too. Femi, now with what the man that represented that was in the house, Obadare. Now take note that Ebenezer Obadare was invited specially. He's a fellow at the Foreign Relationship Council in the United States. Testified against a lot of things, the primary drivers of violence, Boko Haram, Islamic State, and all of this, SWAP. So, Femi, do you think that all he said, because now the final conclusion yesterday in that hearing is that United States lawmakers now accuse Nigerian government of failing to stop the killings. And they say they are coming for this. Do you think that?
Look, the Americans can say whatever they like. As I said, the idea that they're going to come and remove the terrorists is just a fantasy that's not going to happen. There's a joint working committee that's been set up. They will work with Nigeria to help Nigeria to rid itself of the scourge within it. That's the best that we can see. I mean, you go on TV, you watch many things. People talk about, oh, we should have drones, we should have satellite, we should have this, we should have that. I said, look, I tell to people that people must be realistic in what they're demanding. For one, there's no country on the planet that has satellite coverage of every inch of their country. There is none. The technology doesn't even exist in the first place. So that all that fantasy that you see on films and when you watch Mission Impossible and stuff is not real. That's one thing. Now, you can have drones for sure, but the number of drones that you're going to need to cover the whole of Nigeria 24/7 will be in the thousands, if not tens of thousands. In fact, I've done the research. To cover just 100 square kilometers, you need 10 to 12 drones. And they need to be going coverage, they need to have base stations and so on. Nigeria is not on that level unless we start manufacturing these drones in Nigeria and have all the ancillary. Yeah, but we started manufacturing, not significant. Not significant.
I'll cut into things, Femi. Femi, you know you're an account man. You're more of a financial guy than tech. I'm in the tech field. First of all, it's not true. You have control towers. You have intel centers that can see all of the country in one spot.
It's not possible. I'm telling you, it's not possible. No. You can have a satellite. Hold on. The resolution is not going to.
Scotland Yard has that. You don't know.
No. So let's be realistic now. What you have is maybe you have a control center that's linked into CCTV networks all around the country. So if you've got CCTV cameras all over the place, for sure you can definitely do that. Do we have that in Nigeria? We don't even have 24. Hold on. We don't have 24 hours electricity, and those CCTV cameras and whatnot are normally in the urban areas. Where is the crisis in Nigeria? It's not in the urban areas, it's in the rural areas, the very areas that George is talking about in the Middle Belt. There's no urban area there. There are villages in the middle of nowhere. You aren't going to have any CCTV there. So there's no way they're going to be watching and seeing every inch to find out this person's being kidnapped in this particular village today, another one's in another village tomorrow. I go to my farm every time. No one's going to know what happens to me in the middle of that village there. There's no police station. There's no even government presence there. Okay, there's a school nearby. But, no one's going to know. So, and the idea that police should be there in 10, 15 minutes, 1 hour, come on, it's just not realistic. Now, what we have got is we've got under-policing. We've got to thank the president now that he's put forward to the National Assembly that let's do state policing. People have been clamoring for state policing, and we know that all security is local. The southwest of Nigeria happens to be the safest part of Nigeria and will continue to be so. Why? Because the people in the southwest have coordinated themselves in such a manner with Amoteco and all the other things that they've done historically to make sure that that place remains the safest part of Nigeria. The north is not a monolithic north. The idea that the North is one region where everybody thinks the same is just not the case. Now, all of a sudden now, when they see what's happening in the South, Southern governors are starting to meet, they're starting to coordinate, then the Northerners are starting waking up now and start saying, oh, we too, we must do our own. But they're coming Johnny come lately. And if you look at what came out of the Northern governors, for me, it's below par and it's just feeble. They're talking about ending, they should stop, they put a moratorium on mining. That's just going to create unemployment. What they should do is regulate all the mines. Make sure that there's a local government official, a state government official at all mines. Regulate the mines so that at any time there's someone there, government gets its tariffs, all the people there are getting the minimum wage, safety and security, you know, is on point, environmental is being watched. If they start doing that, regulate all those things, instead of just letting it go anyhow, then you'll see that insecurity reduce. It's not that they should stop it, they should regulate it. That's what they should do. Don't stop mining, continue mining, because at the end of the day, like someone said, why is it that we mine in the South and it's all regulated, and in the North, they're mining and it's unregulated? They should regulate it, give the money to the federal government, give the money to the states, because the states will make money from PAYE and other local taxes. Then you will see that there will be a change in insecurity. This thing is not rocket science. I think the Northern governors are lazy and they should be called out upon. They should be called out. They're not doing their job.
Well, I wouldn't consider them lazy per se. I would consider them sympathetic to what's going on over there and with the insurgencies. Because look at this. Look at this. You're talking about killing thousands upon thousands of young men that are Northerners. They're not smiling at it. And you know, the question you're going to ask yourself is, while we are putting all these plans together, these monies that are being paid to these people, where are they spending it? Do they go to Cameroon to spend Naira? Or do they cross over to Chad to spend Naira? They're spending that money locally to buy food, buy whatever, the ammunitions that they're buying. Most of the time, they're spending it locally. So that tells you a whole lot about the strategies and the plan of these people. It's targeted, deliberate act. And they're doing it. And part of the foundational problem was that they didn't go to school. Most of them didn't go to school. Now they're of age. They were begging money on the streets, and they're of age. And there's nothing to do with their strength and power. And then they decided to go to the bush and start causing, you know, havoc all over the place. Now, these people that are sympathetic to them because they grew up among them, and this is part of their own people, will say, oh, this is a normal lifestyle for them. But they're causing havoc all over the place. So now what is happening? They will give them wives, they will give them money. I can guarantee you this billion naira that they're talking about contributing every month, most of them will go to these insurgencies. They will use it. Come on, man. Do you know the government has been paying?
Listen. I mean, look.
All the people that are, hold tight. All the people that are back, all these 11 people, 13 people, they brought back. You did not capture the soldier. You did not, you know, arrest the soldier or the terrorists. What do you think is going on?
But you know what? You know what George is doing? You know what George is doing? George is going into the mind of the average Hausa man, and that's because he understands how it's there.
They are paying to release these children.
The thing is, this can't be. This is just fantasy discussion. Look, the Northerners are not one. The Northerners are not one holistic people. There are Hausas, there are Kanuri, there's Igala, there's Agatu, there's Sotiv, and God knows Jukun. There's so many tribes. There's hundreds of tribes there, so they don't speak with one voice. That's for one. Then you're talking about governors being compromised. The governor of Benue State is actually a Christian pastor for that matter. So he's compromised. He's going ahead with the jihadist and saying, yeah, go and kill my people in the villages. Come on, let's be real. That's not what is happening. The thing is, there are people that are attacking. Yes, of course, there are banditry and all the rest of it. There's insecurity in general. Nigeria is an ungoverned, almost becoming like an ungoverned space in places. Yeah, but that's because of the large. Do you know how big the state of Niger State is? It's 70-something thousand square kilometers. 70-something square kilometers. Look, do you know that Lagos is just like 3,000-something square kilometers? And you look how massive that is. Niger State is 70-something thousand square kilometers.
No.
How are you going to police that? With which police is going to be at every place at every time? And that's the problem we have. And that's why we're saying that this thing is local. And just like in the Southeast, this idea of unknown gunmen is a fake statement, because they are known. The people in the locality know the people who are doing what they're doing. The people who are doing the bandits, they know who they are. There's no way that you're going to go and take 300 people and you're just going to disappear into thin air. This is nonsense. So it's the locals who must deal with their problem. Northerners must deal with their problem. You understand? The Southwest have shown that they can deal with their issue. Southeast needs to show that they can deal with their issue. And same with South-South. Now the South is coming together. I hope that the South can learn from the mistakes of the past and learn from other people so that they can integrate more to make sure that this so-called thing coming from the North is not going to come into the South and it stops at the River Niger. And then hopefully the Northerners will solve their problem. They have to solve their problem. It's not President Tinubu that's going to solve their problem for them.
Well, that's the reason why they're contributing money monthly.
Okay, gentlemen,
so what are they going to do with that money is another question.
We're going to stay on the same topic because it's serious, it's crucial. But let's do a small break. You can go have some glass of water. Femi is really passionate about a good Nigeria, and we love that. So see you on the other side. One Nigeria for life.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerian soul are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in south-south Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
Yes, small one. Viewers, we're back Wednesday, the 3rd of December, third day in December, beautiful month. And I'm here with George from Toronto, Canada, Femi from London, UK. Gentlemen, now it all comes down to one thing. The United States House that met yesterday summed it all up. They said it all up, Femi. According to the command, they say U.S. will hold the Nigerian government accountable for all the killings. Now, why is it that it is now that we're doing all these security arrangements, and all these years? Imagine the length of time they've been killing people. Whoever has been doing that, Femi, the number one thing every government owes the citizen is security, their lives and property. I mean, simple. It's not. You don't need to run rambling rows on that. So tell me, why did we not realize this earlier? Why are we putting ourselves in the world map and all these things coming out about us, Nigeria? Tell me, why didn't we do this from the onset?
Look. I think we're not necessarily on the world map. There are very few countries that don't have security and insecurity and terrorism issues. Even India has insecurity issues. China has its own with the Uyghurs and so on, and some other people, Tibet and all that kind of stuff. Every country has its own scenario, and many countries have gone through violent struggles. If you go, the Corsicans in France, the Basques in Spain, the Irish in the UK. Look, come on, even in Canada, they've been violent for Quebec and so on. So these things are not
no violence. They have been.
They have in the past. They're not violent now. That's the point I'm making. Not now. They were in the past. The same, all those ones I mentioned, they were violent in the past. So there was a fad for violent stuff, even Colombia and so on. But now people realize that all this violence, it begets violence and it serves no purpose. And that's why you get people saying you have to have the kinetic and the non-kinetic means of ending insecurity. You understand? But at the end of the day, some will say that if you do not the kinetic, you're appeasing those who are doing violence. You understand? And then it's like rewarding terrorism in a way. You understand? You're rewarding kidnapping. You're rewarding banditry. So, we're in a situation where, you're in the devil and the deep blue sea. So at the end of the day, Nigeria has been fighting this battle since the time of Obasanjo. This is not new. Boko Haram started during the time of Obasanjo. So when he started in 1999, about 20, I don't know what year it was exactly, but that was when Boko Haram started, when they killed Yusuf and so on, and then the splinter group started. So we've had the people in the Niger Delta. They've been going on since when the time of Ken Saro-Wiwa and so on. So we've had violence for a while. In fact, pre-independence, a lot of nationalities have been killing themselves, especially in the Middle Belt, because that is a contentious area where some people didn't want to be in the north. They wanted to have their own region, or they wanted to come down south, and the north didn't want to. It's just that not everybody is like, for example, if you go to somewhere like Kwara now, you can see that people are trying to create Kwara into another kind of destabilized area, because Kwara is in the north, but guess what? 99% of them are Yoruba. You understand? And Yoruba is mostly in the south. So now there's like saying, is there some kind of agitation going on where people want to invade? And if you look at the history of Kwara, it was always part of Oduduwa Republic, and all those people were talking about Oduduwa Republic and all that kind of nonsense. So there's always some kind of political thing behind some of these insecurities. We do need external help, but we don't need to be dictated to. Those so-called people are threatening, but they can't come in like they're going to go into Somalia and start fighting. This is just a fantasy. So what they can do is assist. They can assist with intelligence. They can assist with hardware, and so on. One of the main things that they should assist us with is where is the money come from? Unlike what George was saying, the new Minister of Finance was on an interview where he said when they've arrested hundreds of thousands of these Boko Haram people, and a lot of them are found with foreign exchange. Where are they getting FX from? If they're found and they've been arrested with FX, which they use to buy their weaponry and stuff, where are they getting the funding from? There must be some external force that is also involved in this thing. So that's why he was talking about a conspiracy. So we need collaboration with external agencies to find out where the source of money is. And all those people who are funding are sponsors of terrorism. Now, let me give you another example. I'm going to close now, but you see on record enough videos of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu going to Canada, going to America, going to UK, asking for funding for what? Terrorism. Fund us so that we can fund ESN and so on and so forth. Is that not supporting terrorism? So people on the video there who are there supporting financially and whatever should be apprehended and prosecuted and face the life imprisonment or death penalty just like any other terrorist. Because if we're saying sponsors of terrorists must be sought, whether they're in Dubai or wherever they are, whether they're jihadists or whoever they are, they all need to be arrested and they must be prosecuted and given the death penalty. I think when they get that death penalty, so say someone who's a chief funder from America or wherever, Saudi Arabia, wherever, gets brought to Nigeria, is prosecuted and given the death penalty, and it is carried out, I trust you, that whole nonsense will start stopping.
Well, you know, you see,
Whole
when
nonsense
you
will start
start
stopping.
grouping,
All right.
listen to this, listen. You just told us that the whole entire saga that is taking place in Nigeria is all segmented. You can't deal with one, you know, the same way you would deal with another. The insurgency that is happening in the north is quite different from IPOB. IPOB is not inflicting any pain on any Nigerian, or they're inflicting pain on their own
30,000 people dead in the southeast. 30,000 people dead. You say they're not inflicting any pain.
Let me finish. They are killing their own people. That's what I'm saying.
So that's justified. That's okay. The Northerners are killing their own people too.
The strategy and the deliberate act of the Northern insurgency, the ISWAP and the Boko Haram, is quite different from an agitation like Sunday.
Oh my God, you're justified. So that means it's okay. It's okay. Terrorism is okay if you're agitating for freedom.
Terrorism is not okay. They took it to another level, and that's why they are clipping them one by one now. But what I'm
you sound like Malami. You sound like Malami.
No, I don't sound like anybody. I want them clipped.
No, it's not Malami. What's it? Matawale. Not Malami. Matawale.
Hold on. Hold tight. You gotta listen. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you is the way Nnamdi Kanu started his his situation, the way he started on the radio agitating and all that, traveling to sympathizers to help him financially. It's not the same as what these people are doing, killing and maiming and destroying houses and burning them out.
You must allow me to. You must allow me to respond. You must allow me to respond.
Let me tell you something. You cannot take the insurgency of the North and then bunch it together with what's happening in IPOB. Yes, we condemn what's happening with IPOB because they are their own people stopping their people from progressing and killing their people. Yes, they need to be stopped. But you cannot bunch it and say, oh, somebody who gave money in 2019 to
I'll be not fond of IPOB because maybe you're defending yourself. Look, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you straight up.
I am an open. If you go to go and Google my name and Google Nnamdi Kanu, you will see that I am an open contender with him. I don't care.
Good.
And I don't care. And I have done it openly. I put words in the Nigerian newspaper that stopped him from that nonsense he was doing originally. So go and Google it. But what I'm saying is this. I'm not a sympathizer of IPOB.
Can I respond? Can I please respond?
Yes. Go ahead. Respond.
I have to respond, please. If you just allow me to respond, I call George out as a Matawale here, because you go on social media and people would be condemning Matawale because what is Matawale saying? Matawale is saying is that, oh, some bandits are okay, guess what? They've got grievances, they've got this, there's some rationale behind that's bullshit, and you know it. And same thing with those who are talking about Biafra. You can have Biafra or you can agitate for Biafra in a peaceful manner. Nobody is going to argue with that. But when you start going to America, going to South Africa, going to all these places and asking people, give money for ESN, give money for Biafra National Guards, for IPOB to buy weapons so that we can kill Nigerian soldiers. This is on record. This is on video. This is not a joke. It's a very serious matter. And for you to say to me that, oh, no, they're different, guess what? They've got genuine attitude. It's nothing to do with the genuinity of their agitation. If you are sponsoring terrorism, you need to be arrested. You understand? It's as simple as that. And then when people understand that the consequences of their actions is leading to 30,000 people dying, then they will stop doing it. Because if they know that when they do that, they're going to go to prison, they won't do it anymore. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying one is more than the other, or one is. They're all the same. I don't have any. Look, Igboho, for example, I think he should be arrested and he should face the crimes that the alleged crimes that he's supposed to have when they tried to arrest him in Ibadan. I don't have any sympathy for any of these people. Yeah, the same brush I paint all of them. They all need to face the death penalty. They all need to go to jail, just like Mazi and Kanu.
Okay, nice passion. I see passion here. All right, gentlemen, let's get to some small good news before we wrap it up. Nigeria launched electric tricycle scheme across universities, and that looks like it will help students inside campus and around campuses to move around. So it says it's Renewed Hope Campus Transport Scheme, a batch of about 240 electric tricycle have been put out into 12 universities. Gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the federal government. I mean, these are some initiatives that are worthy of commending. George, I saw you clapping there.
Absolutely clapping.
Yeah.
Because when you, like I said before, if you do good, we joy and rejoice. If you do bad, we have to point you out. The federal government is rolling out 240 solar powered tricycles to 12 universities across Nigeria, calling it the Renew Hope Campus Transport Scheme. Powerful. You say, so this is a direct response to the rising cost of transportation for students following the recent economic reforms like the fuel subsidy removal. The Students' Union will own and operate these tricycles, charging low fares as little as 80 naira per trip, less than 100 naira. That's amazing. And Unilag, to create affordable rides and generate funds for maintenance, the Student Union will own and operate these. So hopefully they will do it equitably. As part of the bigger push towards renewable energy on campus, solar charges provided plans to expand the scheme to more schools next year. Okay, the thing is amazing, because what I did was I was so happy about this, and I went in to start looking what universities are these that are receiving. As a matter of fact, it's across the whole entire nation, from southeast to south, all over the place.
Pick major universities.
I am telling you, they've done something. Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Bahrain University, Kano. It's come to northeast. You have Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, University of Maiduguri, University of Jos, Ilorin. Southeast, you have Nigerian, the University of Nigeria and Soka, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Southside, you have in Benin, University of Port Harcourt. Man, it's just all over the place. So that is something that we're supposed to hail the government for this.
Yeah, I'm in support of it as well. I mean, I have a friend of mine that is just completed their masters at Unilag, and they showed me a bus that they've got. That's an electric bus in Unilag, and it's really stunning. And the fares are very cheap and it's good. And I think we need to do more of this all over Nigeria. And what I think they actually need to do is engage the departments of engineering so that they can be fabricating them on site in the universities as well. And also, you've got all this lithium in many states. We need to start making lithium batteries from Nigeria. And also, we're making petroleum, and that we're exporting petroleum now. We need to start doing lithium and start making lithium batteries here in Nigeria, because then we'll have the electric vehicle revolution that's going to take over Nigeria. And then electricity will become more affordable for the rest of Nigeria. Look, I know that Nigeria is going to boom. You understand? We're just going through a little peak now where we've got all this craziness happening right now. But what's going to happen is that I think this checkered President Tinubu government, which people are poo-pooing and whatever, is had a lot to deal with, and it's dealing with it frontally. There's no hiding place. They're dealing with it, and they're not trying to be popular about it, but they're getting to grips. And you will see that if they do this 4 years, and if they're lucky to get another 4 years, there will be a transformation, and he might not get the benefit of that transformation. It will be in leaderships to come that they will have the benefit of what the foundation that has been laid down right now. So I believe before this, the tenure of this government, we will have state police. And if they do give state police, that will be part of the restructuring that the government promised in the referendum in its manifesto. So all these things are going to be happening. So much has been happening, but we will see how it all pans out in the end.
We'll see how it all pans out in the end. Thank you so much, Femo. Thank you for those words. Gentlemen, it's about time. But before we go, there's a news coming from the United States. George, I know you heard that the party in California that people mistook gunshots for balloons. You know, the sound of gunshots were like balloons. So, and the party was going on, and eventually people were killed. About 3 children and many other people were injured. California, United States. Now, why am I bringing this, Femi and George? We're in Christmas. We're in December. December in Nigeria is Christmas season, and a lot of people will be popping up balloons and all that. Now, this is also that time, the abduction season, where people are being kidnapped, taken. So sometimes it might sound like balloon popping up, or it's gunshots. Viewers, guys, what do you say? You agree with me? It might sound like balloon, but it's probably going to be gunshot, because they will capitalize on those festive mood and all of those fun fairs and be, doing their thing. I mean, we need to alert our people. What do you guys say?
For me, I wouldn't want you to scaremonger people so that they're not going to enjoy their Christmas. I mean, come on, we need to enjoy their Christmas. I mean, obviously there's a danger, but I think America is more likely to be the ones that should be looking out for those kind of things, because the land is the land of the gun. So yeah, I mean, that's America for you. One of the most violent countries in the world right now, especially when it comes to gun violence, more so than Nigeria. Even though people think Nigeria is more, it's not actually the case. America is more violent because they have more guns, millions, tens of millions of guns than we do have in Nigeria. Now, yeah, December is a great month because it's my birthday this month. I just had my birthday, and I want to make sure that balloons keep on popping. Yeah, let's have balloons. Let's not have gunshots.
When is your birthday, Femo?
It was on the 1st. Yeah. The 1st was my birthday.
Oh, beautiful!
Wow!
Happy birthday, man!
Happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I wish I had one of those beautiful ladies. They would have sang for you, but if I sing, you might go under.
You can listen. You can have a belated birthday gift. I don't mind.
I don't want to mess up your birthday. I just want to leave it alone. Yeah, California Governor Gavin Newsom has ordered flags half-staff in honor of the young victims killed in a mass shooting at the house birthday party in Stockton. It's so sad. It's so sad. We are now learning the identity of some of the young victims, including 8 years old Maya Lupien, a vibrant girl who loved karate and dance, a 14-year-old Amari Peterson, and promising athlete described as a bright, loved soul. And the grief is overwhelming, with one of the fathers telling reporters, "I can't live with the fact that I couldn't save my son after this 14-year-old boy was killed and the 9-year-old daughter escaped." The community is left in shock and fear, with families returning to the scene in their party clothes to retrieve belongings, terrified and retaliation, and calling the violence senseless and demanding those responsible to be found. So these are the things we go through. When we are talking about Nigeria, we also have to pay attention to what's happening in some of these developed countries, because it seems like our own is overblown and it makes it like a world affair. But when something like this happens in a local California, it becomes only California issue. It's not an American issue. But when something is happening in Katsina, Nigeria, it becomes a Nigerian issue, and sometimes they make it West African issue. So we need to be very deliberate in the way we term these things. Yes, indeed. During December in Nigeria, most kidnapping stops because some of these insurgents, they go out there, they want to spend their money and have a good time, and because these are local people. They take all that money they made and go to their villages and want to, like that they are big boys. So this is what you're seeing. So, we are praying for people in our country. And believe me, this government started well, but the application of some of the policies
Right.
were not very good. But now we are
Good.
seeing a lot of bright light shine, and
Hopefully,
thankfully, this particular situation that is blooming right now, solutions will come eventually, and Nigeria will live in
okay.
a relatively peace environment.
Nigeria will live in a relative peace environment. Femi, what's your last words for today? We're about
Yeah,
to
my last
close
word for today is that there's hope for Nigeria. It's not, there's not doom and gloom. Even here in the UK, there's a big thing going on now about people are jackpotting away from London, the UK, going to America, going to Saudi. Even some doctors are going to, and medical people are going to Saudi Arabia. People are going to Australia and whatever. Because taxes have gone up. Everything is being expensive. The cost of living crisis here. Things are really hard right here. And if you hear the way that people are screaming and shouting over here, it's no different to the way people are screaming and shouting in Nigeria. But when you're in Nigeria, you think that only Nigerians are suffering. People are suffering world over. It's struggling. People are jackpotting. Go and read about it. Go and research about it. People are leaving the UK in their droves, in thousands, tens of thousands every year, and they're not coming back. Now, that's British citizens. And meanwhile, Nigerians want to jackpot to all these other countries. But guess what? The door's closing. Donald Trump has said, you know what? We don't want any more third world people anymore. He said some crazy thing that I read just now, that he said that Somalis are not doing anything positive for America. I mean, that's a scandalous statement. You understand? So these people, they don't want us, So it's high time that we understand that and start fixing up our own country. Don't spend all day condemning Nigeria all day long. It's not going to fix Nigeria. You need to start going back and fixing Nigeria, because guess what? Where you want to run to, they don't want you there. They don't want us here. You understand? You should get to know that.
All right, George, let me just hit that one hard.
Yeah, you hit that point hard. Yeah, but you know what? The hope we have is that Africa will be the homage eventually.
Amen.
It's coming. It is.
I'm going. I invest in Nigeria. I jackpot if you like. So I'm in Nigeria. So I'm farming. So I look forward to you guys coming over and doing your investments and letting people know that Nigeria is not as bad as what you see on social media.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. George from Toronto, Canada, Femi okay, from London, UK. Guys, you did it so well, passionately delivering your content. So we have to go. We'll be here on Friday. It's international news updates, viewers. Friday, we're talking Kremlin, we're talking Ukraine talk and all the lengthy meeting between Russia President Putin and United States negotiators. So thank you all. See you next time as we come around. Have a blessed hump day.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye-bye.